Something just changed forever. You may not have heard about it yet, but I promise you what I'm about to explain could redefine how every single American uses money. Because for the first time in US history, the federal government has just passed a law recognizing digital money as a legitimate part of our financial system. Whether you're a crypto believer or a total skeptic, this is going to affect you, and here's why. Right? Do you send money to your family? Worry about inflation, wait for days for checks to clear. Well, that ends here. Trump has just signed the Genius Act, and it could be probably one of the biggest shifts in US money since we left the gold standard. So you want to make sure you pay attention and make sure you go ahead and share this with someone that could benefit. So before we break this down, I want to make sure that you guys understand a little bit of the background, right? So what is the Genius Act? So let's break down what just happened, because the law is more than just a political situation, right? It's literally a huge shift in how the US government is finally handling digital currencies, right? So the Genius Act, officially titled Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for US Stablecoins Act, is the first ever federal law that directly regulates a specific type of cryptocurrency. And yes, that matters more than you think. So here is the thing as it relates to this, right? This doesn't apply to all cryptocurrency, not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, not meme coins, not or NFTs. It just targets one category, which is called stable coins. So quick definition, right? What are stable coins? Stable coins are digital tokens designed to always be worth $1. So they're tied or basically associated to a real world currency like the US dollar. So that means there's not going to be any wild price swings like it does what you see with Bitcoin. There's not going to be meme fueled crashes. There's not going to be really speculation roulette with this. Just a digital version of the dollar that moves fast. It works globally and operates 24/7. So let me give you a practical example, right? So imagine this. Let's say you're a freelancer, right? And your client in Germany pays you instantly using a dollar-backed stablecoin. Or maybe you're a retiree wiring money to a grandchild abroad, right? But this time with zero bank fees. Maybe you're a small business owner, and instead of waiting 3 days for an ACH to clear, you automatically get paid instantly, right? So that's the kind of real world use cases for this that this law is going to be able to unlock. All right. So how does this actually function? So let's talk a little bit more about the mechanics here without having a whole bunch of jargon. All right. So under this new law, it's going to establish a couple things: who can use or who can issue stable coins. So banks and credit unions, of course, are going to be able to do this. But here's the twist, right? Non-banks, including fintech companies like PayPal, Venmo, Square, even Starbucks, can issue stable coins too, right? So this is going to open the floodgates for innovation. It's no longer just for crypto insiders or Wall Street, all right? Next, the 1-for-1 rule. All right. So any company issuing stable coins must hold $1 in reserve for every stable coin they want to mint. All right. So no exceptions, no algorithm nonsense, no crypto magic. It's going to be fully backed, verifiable cash equivalent reserves. All right. So think of it like a digital cashier's vault. Right. So every digital dollar must be supported by a real dollar or a dollar equivalent asset. All right. So just to make this make sense. All right. So if you hold $500 in stable coins, the issuer better have $500 sitting in a federally approved account ready to be able to back it up. All right, next, there's going to be federal level oversight. So issuers must also meet certain requirements, right? There's going to be audit requirements. There's going to be risk management standards. There's going to be real-time compliance monitoring. So this is not going to be like the Wild Wild West anymore. This is going to be an FDIC style supervision, but it's going to be tailored for digital assets. And here's the secret, right? Most crypto has never operated under this kind of clarity or accountability before. So bottom line is this, right? This law brings something the crypto space has desperately needed, which is more legitimacy, some trust, consumer confidence as well. Because up until now, people didn't know who to trust in crypto, right? Was it the bank? Was it the startups? Is it a scam? Now, under the Genius Act, if a company wants to issue stable coins in the US, they have to be able to play by these rules, which is the federal rules, all right? So that means more security for your digital dollars as it relates to the stablecoin, right? So more confidence for businesses accepting crypto payments and more mainstream adoption by banks and payroll systems, even federal institutions down the road, right? So this isn't just a tech update, it's a digital version of when banks got the FDIC insurance, right? And that's going to be foundational. So why is this a big deal, right? Up until now, crypto law has been a disaster, right? The SEC said crypto was a stock. The CFTC said it was a commodity. The IRS, they treated it like property. Now the Genius Act finally lays out what stable coins are, right? Who can issue them and how they're going to be regulated. And here's the secret thing to keep in mind, right? This gives digital money its first legal foundation nationwide, right? And here's the crazy part. This law actually bans retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. So translation, the Fed cannot create a digital wallet for every American. Why does this matter? Because critics feared that CBDCs would let the government track every dollar you spend, right? So the Genius Act blocks that power. Trump knew this was going to be a deal breaker, so he made sure that the bill included strong anti-surveillance language, which flipped several lawmakers back into support, right? So Trump's crypto U-turn. So funny thing is, Trump used to hate crypto. He called it a scam, said it was made up money, but guess what? Now he's calling it the financial revolution of the century. So what really changed here? So crypto giants like Coinbase, Circle, Robinhood all lobbied hard for this bill. And there's another name in the room you've probably never heard of, World Liberty Financial. They created a new stablecoin, USD1, earlier this year. And guess what? Trump's family actually owns 60% of that company. And yes, his picture was on the website with the title Chief Crypto Advocate. And that changed real quick when questions started flying, right? Is it a conflict of interest? The White House says no, his assets are in a trust. But this will surprise you, right? The ethics cloud still looms around. All right, so what is this going to mean for you? So right, here's what most people don't understand. This isn't just about investors, it's about how you get paid. You send money, how to be able to protect your savings, right? So imagine this. Instant paychecks, no more wire fees, no more waiting 3 days for deposits. Sounds great, right? But here's the scary part. The law passed, right? But the rules are still being written. Who protects your money if the coin company collapses? How do you get your funds back? Maybe in a fraud case. What happens to your privacy? Regulators now have a 6-month window to iron out these details, and this is like a make or break time, right? So the global race for digital dominance. So understand this: the U.S. is behind on this, right? Way behind. China already has the digital version of this, right? Europe is already testing out a digital euro, and countries like Africa and Latin America are literally leapfrogging the old banking system entirely. This law is America's chance to really catch up and start to leap ahead, right? So the real reason this law exists, as Trump himself said, this is about making sure the dollar stays the world's top currency. So stable coins, if tied to the US dollar, could boost demand for US treasuries, lower borrowing costs, and preserve global economic power. And that's why Wall Street and Washington are both watching this closely. But here's what is probably the most scary thing about this, right? This shift risks leaving a lot of people behind, right? Not everyone knows how to use crypto wallets. Not everyone can spot a phishing scam. Not everyone has internet access, let alone digital literacy, right? So if we're not careful, the digital money could widen the wealth gap instead of closing it, right? So what's the biggest takeaway here? So let's zoom out for a second. The Genius Act isn't just a new law, it's starting line of new financial era. And make no mistakes about this, right? From this point forward, money will never look the same, right? We're talking about faster payments, smarter financial tools, 24/7 money movement across borders without the banks. And it may sound amazing, right? But here's the truth, right? With this speed and innovation comes a new category of risk, because digital money doesn't just move faster. It actually leaves a trail. It can be programmed. It can be monitored. It can be flagged. It can be stopped. So we're entering in a world where a paycheck isn't just delayed. It could be literally redirected. A refund doesn't just bounce. It could actually be blocked. Your wallet doesn't just hold the money. It could actually hold data tied to your behavior. So the big question is, will this technology actually improve our lives by saving time, cutting fees, or expanding access? Or will it quietly shift more power to the banks, the tech giants, the government, leaving regular people even more vulnerable? So that's the question we need to have now and not later. Because here's what most people don't realize. These systems will be running in the background of your life long before you ever download a crypto wallet. So what can you do right now? This isn't just about watching policy unfold. This is about literally having a strategy in a changing digital landscape, right? Here's what I recommend you do today, right? You want to make sure, number one, you want to make sure you stay informed. Most people won't even know this law exists until their paycheck shows up in a new format. Their bank suddenly is going to offer them a digital wallet, or they lose money in a stablecoin platform that wasn't compliant, right? So don't be that person, right? You're already ahead just by watching this video up until this point, right? Number two, you want to make sure you check for platform compliance. So if you use things like PayPal, Venmo, Coinbase, or a neobank or fintech payroll service, make sure they're registered and compliant under the new federal standards. Ask them directly or check their terms of service to see if they've updated it. If they're not playing by the Genius Act rules, your funds may not be safe. Also, make sure you go ahead and talk to a CPA, a tax strategist, especially if you hold crypto. Here's what most people forget. Every digital dollar you touch has tax implications. So stable coin may stay at $1, but you could owe taxes when converting them. So you may face new reporting requirements. You could even trigger a taxable event just by swapping between digital wallets. So don't guess, don't Google. Make sure you go ahead and actually talk to someone in the industry, in the field, who understands crypto, especially when the IRS is updating rules faster than most platforms can keep up with. And then bonus thing, make a digital paper trail, right? Start keeping records of your stable coin payments, wallet balances, crypto to transfers. Why? Because audit proofing your future starts now, before any IRS letters or compliance warnings hit your mailbox. So again, this is not just financial law, it is the infrastructure of our future economy. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this, right? The way we spend, earn, and store money is changing, and the people who adopt early will come out ahead of this. So don't wait for the change to show up in your bank app. Stay ahead of it, learn about it, prepare for it, and always make sure you're asking questions and really think to yourself, right? Who benefits from the system and how do I protect myself within it? All right. So now let me know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think stable coins are going to replace cash, or will we always need the paper dollar in our wallets? And if you want more honest, no spin breakdowns of this, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, share this with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.